It's Monday, April 29th, Tuesday, April 30th, if you're on the East Coast, across the pond, or down under. And this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. Hope you had a great weekend and a start to your week. I am your host, Dave Scott, broadcasting to you live from the Great White North on top of the mountains of central British Columbia, right here at SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, including Deep Talk Radio and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping in our store, and so much so forth. Our website will be looking new and looking improved in a couple of weeks. Tonight's show is brought to you by the YouTube channel Insuho. Sebastian Martin brings high-quality messages to the masses. Head to our website, click on the Insuho banner, and subscribe today. The final Monday of the month, we see Butch Witkowski's Strange Days return. But tonight, we're going to find out something very, very strange. We're going to find out if something ominous has happened in the forests of Pennsylvania. It all revolves around this bipedal canine. Butch's website is uforcop.com. A former police officer, Butch brings his investigative experience to the paranormal, searching for everything from ghosts and aliens to the reports of missing people. Then in the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Mr. Butch Witkowski, hard to believe. Show number 4 with you in 2019 already. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing fine, sir. Yeah, it is. That is kind of hard to believe it's number 4 already.
It is. It totally is. Butch, always good to have you here. Tell us a little bit about UFO Cop for those who aren't familiar.
UFO Cop was started in 2009. It's a group of like-minded researchers from around the country and from Europe, and we all have a lot of experience. I have 30 years at this, and I have people that are into it 40, 42 years. So we just really go after everything just like you'd go after any type of a case. Use the best knowledge that's been available for all these people for all these years, the best equipment, the best tools, best forensic tools, and hope that it gives us some kind of an outcome of the stuff we're looking at.
Butch, there's so much going on these days in regards to paranormal, supernatural, and everything in between. After so many decades of people investigating, including yourself, do you ever find that we're nowhere closer to finding the answers that we usually would have by this amount of research?
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Only because... Well, I'm going to partially agree with that. I'm going to give you 70% on that. But there have been things that have been found that have led to further research. I think a lot more Bigfoot researchers now are not spending so much time in the woods as they are looking into cave areas and valleys where there is not hardly at all any traffic of humans. And along with the UFO folks, they're going back to the tried and true method of sky watching, which always produced good film, good pictures. And paranormal folks, well, if they get lucky, they get some type of evidence, whether it be a photograph or a EVP. I'm not too sold on EVPs because there's so much white noise that you can misundertake and misunderstand. But I think people have kind of changed around their modes of operation and investigation, which is a good thing because, you know, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over, and you've been doing it for 20 years and you've got nothing, there's a pretty good chance you're never going to get anything. So I like it when I hear people are switching up the types of investigations they're doing, how they're going about it, different types of equipment they're trying. So we'll see how it works out. But right now it's producing some pretty interesting cases.
I just sent you a photo earlier today at my ghost tour that restarted back on April 20th, so almost, about 8-9 days ago. One of our guests actually sent me a photo from the bottom floor of the Clydesdale barn that we go in, and this building's about 100 years old. This is for people who've heard us talk about this subject before. In the upstairs, we actually caught the photo of a ghost full in looking like a human walking up a staircase. And you've seen that photo, Butch. You liked that one.
Yep.
But this time, one of our tourists who came through on the tour actually caught the photograph of a horse head in one of the horse stalls. Now, there are no horses in those stalls. And, it's like the horse is just starting to peer its head out. You could see the nostrils. You could see the eye on the left side of the face. You could see the ears sticking up and the long nose. It was pretty impressive, Butch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when I looked at it, I blew it up a little bit, and I took a couple layers off to give me a more pronounced shape. And it's definitely a horse head. No doubt about that. Yeah.
But, you just don't know when it's going to happen. You really don't know when it's going to happen. That's why, like on our tour that we do, I always tell people, make sure you take as many photographs as possible, because you never know what's going to show up. And that's the cool part about it, man. That's the real cool part about it.
Well, I had a case where a gentleman thought he was being watched while he was in his kitchen. And there was nobody home. Wife and kid were across the street at his mom's house. And he was sitting there making himself a sandwich. He just felt like he was being watched, and he turned around. There was nothing in the doorway, and the doorway led right from like a dining area into the kitchen area. And he kept making his sandwich, and he just kept having his feeling. So he grabbed his camera and walked out, looked around, nothing going on, went back in the kitchen, took the camera with him, and when he had that feeling again, he turned around and fired a couple of shots off. And he got nothing. There was nothing there. So I don't know what possessed him to do this and why he even thought of it. I never would have thought of it. But behind that kitchen, or out from that kitchen, is a full-size bathroom. And in that bathroom is one of these stand-up mirrors his wife uses to change and stuff, It's not attached to anything. It's just on a pedestal with some wheels. So he wheels that out there, and he puts it right aside of him at the cabinet where he's working, at the countertop where he's working, goes about making his sandwich, and he has that feeling again. Something is watching him. So instead of turning around and shooting the camera at the door, he turns around and shot the camera at the mirror. And lo and behold, there's two unknown, whatever they are, standing in the doorway. One's a little taller than the other, but they're there. So he took a couple more shots, and they're there. And when I got the photos, I sent them to a couple other researchers, plus though I did it myself. We all came up with the same conclusion. Whatever they are, they were there. Ain't no doubt in my mind. Now, a little background on that family. He collects, let's say, some rather bizarre things, like crucifixes off of coffins, graveyard dirt off of freshly dug graves, old headstones, mortuary equipment. So I would venture to say he's one of these folks that, bought something and brought it in the house, and now they're just hanging around.
Well, I don't expect when I go on a ghost tour and take people around to capture the head of a ghost horse. It was actually kind of cool. It was actually kind of really cool. And, the one thing, we have a rule on our tour, Butch, where we do not allow our tour guides, myself included, to take any photos. We're not allowed to take photos. We want all of our photos to be taken by people on the tour. And if they catch something, well, then I get a copy of it, And it just makes the tour seem more real for people, even though it is real. But, if we're sitting there saying, oh, look at the photo we got, and you get 100 people through and they don't capture anything, they're going to say, well, why are these tour guides getting photographs and we're not?
Exactly.
So,
yeah, sure.
So we, in order to kind of bridge the skepticism a little bit, we have told our tour guides there are no photographs to be taken by you. They are only to be taken by the people there. Encourage lots of photographs, and you never know what we're going to get. And we've been waiting. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, is anybody in your group using a full spectrum camera?
No. The majority of everybody who comes, they're using their cell phones. Right? Like we tell people, bring your cameras. But everybody's like, oh, well, I got a camera on my phone. I'll just take that. And that photo was of the horse, which can be found at #SpacedOutRadio on Twitter right now. It was taken with I believe a Samsung G8 or whatever they're called. I'm an iPhone guy, so I'm not very familiar with the Samsungs. And S8. That's what got the picture. Yeah. I have people ask all the time, what kind of camera to use. And, a lot of people that ask that question are not ufologists, and they're not people that are out in the woods looking for Bigfoot, but they are more or less people that are into the paranormal. And my advice to them is either use a full spectrum camera. They're very inexpensive. They're not very, very expensive at all. You can buy those from any ghost shop for, less than $100. And another one is a FLIR. Now they have pocket FLIRs. They don't have a great distance, but you're not shooting at a great distance. You're not looking at a great distance when you're inside of a house or a barn. You're kind of concentrated in a smaller area. So it is, and those units, the FLIR pocket units, run around $200. You can probably get them a lot cheaper if you find one on eBay. But and they take a picture and they also take video, so that's pretty cool. So even with the full spectrum cameras, you can get those in a camera that also takes video. I'm like you when it comes to that type of investigation. Take as many pictures as you can. Try not to kick up too much dust. A lot of these places are old. Nobody's walking around in them. And if you have a camera that you can set stationary on a tripod, that's another good way to shoot. But I've seen some pretty weird stuff taken with cameras on paranormal investigations. And you're not going to argue about it. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's there. Now, if I try to wash it through a program and it disappears on me, after, blowing it up maybe 100% or 150, 200%, probably it was not what everybody thought it was. But when I worked on your horse picture tonight, that little bit, I mean, I took it up to 300%, and it was still there. When I got over 300% and I washed it and took a couple layers off, then it started to distort. But when I took it back down to 200%, it's there. It's a horse's head. There's no doubt about it. No question in my mind. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Very interesting. And I am still in shock. I get all giddy and excited when our guides lead these people through the buildings and the people come back and are like, there was something there. Look at this. And it was funny because the woman who took the picture, I got to send her a message after you and I got off the phone earlier. And I was like, congratulations. I've had this photo analyzed by Butch Witkowski and I gave your website, uforcop.com. And she was like, and I'm like, Butch has confirmed that that's a ghost horse. Congratulations. Haven't got a message back yet. But the best part about it was her husband was one of these cross the arms along the chest. I'm skeptical about everything. I don't believe in this stuff. Well,
oh yeah.
Your wife just got an amazing picture.
Yeah. Is there any weird history on that barn? I mean, anything spectacular happen there, or is it just an old barn?
No, it's a 100-year-old barn that was built for. It's a memorial barn that was built by a friend who lost his buddy in World War I. And he built this, I'm going to say it's probably 50 yards, 60 yards, maybe longer. Mm-hmm. It's a big barn, man. And it's all A-framed log, it's like a log barn, like a log house type log barn.
Yeah. You had posted some. Yeah, you had posted some pictures of that a while back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty darn cool to be able to see that. And I don't, I don't mind it when things like that happen, especially when the husband is so skeptical and is like, I don't believe in any of this stuff. Well, now you have to.
Yeah, I would think so. Either that or he's a real skeptic and wouldn't know it if it bit him in the butt.
Exactly. How do you deal with those who are skeptical and then you finally are able to prove something to them with evidence, Butch? What do you do?
Look, skeptics are, they'll come up with every reason in the world why it isn't what it is. But then when you look at them and say, like, okay, now that you figured that out, why don't you tell me what it is? And then they get all stumbly and stupid in the face, and, most of them walk away. And there's some that'll stand there and argue with you till they fall over out of breath. But unless they can prove to me that what I just said to them is wrong, it's just, they're just blowing in the wind as far as I'm concerned. I don't particularly give them time of day. I mean, I'll listen to their story. I'll listen to what they think. But then they better tell me what it is. If they don't believe what I'm telling them it is, and I'm showing them evidence of something in the sky or whatever, and they're saying, well, that's this, that, and the other thing, I said, okay, that's your story. Now you tell me what it is. And they usually just walk away or mumble under their breath. But I really have no use for skeptics. But I do have use for skeptical believers, which I am. And I have always been a skeptical believer. And all that basically means is I want to see the evidence. I want to see the photograph. I want to see the residual evidence that you picked up, or the marks left on a tree or a wall, or I want to see that stuff. So I'm skeptical till I see that. And then other things you can't really be skeptical about, although your first inclination is to, until like a multi-witness account. You really can't blow that off, because if you got 10 people and you're interviewing 10 people one at a time, and they don't know each other, but they live in a proximity where they might have seen the same thing, and they're all giving you the same story, well, you pretty much know that whatever happened, whatever they saw. But then you can't let that get confused with the Me Too-isms. And the Me Too-isms are enough to make you crazy, because you could be standing there talking to somebody on the corner at their home when they just saw something, fly across the sky or whatever, and the neighbor hears that, and next thing you know, he's coming over there going, yeah, me too, I saw it. So I pretty much will blow that guy off, because all he did was overhear a conversation. There's a lot of, a lot of really observant people, and I find the ones that are most observant are the non-believers, because they're the ones that'll see something and they'll keep staring at it until they can't see it anymore. Where somebody that does it all the time, they see it and well, that's a bolide, or that's a meteor, or that's this. But it's those ones that don't believe that they'll follow something in the sky till it just disappears, and in their mind they'll give you a perfect description. And that is, to me, has always been fun, because you can tell when they start. It starts something like this, like, now I don't believe in this stuff. I think it's a load of crap. But here's what I saw, and then they tell you, and very detailed. So skeptics, they're crazy. They just have nothing to do, or they just need something to talk about, or they just need to stand out in the crowd.
But to give them proof, evidence that makes them scratch their head and say, no way, that's not supposed to exist. I mean, that's got to be a little fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I like the people that say, hey, when you're out looking for these bipedals, why don't you just start throwing some hamburger around? And you just stare at them and go like, our research area is 150 miles by 80 miles. Where do you want me to start throwing a hamburger around? Are you paying for the hamburger? That's a lot of hamburger.
We got about 90 seconds here before we got to go to break, and we're going to be turning the corner because in the next half hour, we have been asking you this question for a couple of years about these bipedal canines that you have been researching. And that question has been, why have they not attacked anybody? But coming up after the break here, you're going to tell us about a story recently that your team was called to where we may have had that actually finally happen. Tease us a little bit, Butch. You got about a minute.
Well, a group of 6 people, 3 couples, hiking, had one walk out on them. And as almost all of those sightings are, they're either standing at the edge of the woods or they walk out on somebody. And that's when the whole thing went bad. And we interviewed everybody, exactly what happened, all separately. They all live in the same area, same neighborhood. They do this a lot. It was just a nice day. And I was quite taken back by what they told us. And we can continue this after the break.
Oh, wow. We've been waiting for this. We have been waiting for this, Butch. And I'm surprised it's taken so long. I mean, I know that you had reports of these happening. You know, in your research, you read reports from this happening, in the 1920s or 1930s, but we haven't had anything in almost 100 years reported like this, and one falls into your lap. So the audience, just like us, are going to have to wait for this story. Did a bipedal canine try to attack people in Pennsylvania very recently? We'll find out when we come back. Butch Witkowski's Strange Days happens the first Monday of every month right here on Spaced Out Radio. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything is an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Coming up this September 21st and 22nd, all UFO eyes will be focused on Toronto for the 4th Annual Alien Cosmic Expo. Come listen to some of the biggest names and experiencers in ufology: Travis Walton, Paul Hellyer, Richard Dolan, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Randy Kramer, and Spaced Out Radio's own Dave Scott. Tickets are on sale now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters in the frozen Canadian tundra. Glad to have all of you with us tonight. Reminder, if you've missed part of this show or others, you can also always catch them for free at youtube.com/spacedoutradio. That's where we store our archives. Our website, currently under construction. We're rebuilding it due to popular demand. Getting more access, make it easier for you to check things out. So give it a couple of weeks. We're almost there. Tonight we are talking with Butch Witkowski. He comes in the final Monday of every month with a little ditty we call around here Strange Days. Butch, welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. Always good to be on this show.
Well, we should give out your website as well, uforcop.com. That's uforcop.com if you have something to report. Now, Butch, right before the break, we were kind of teasing the audience that, you have been following these bipedal canine reports for a number of years now, and you've never, outside of long historic notes, have heard of anybody being attacked by these. Why don't you set it up for us? Well,
historical reports that go back, and they start at the late 1800s, early 1900s through the 1940s, 50s, 60s, where people have claimed to be attacked by a large bipedal canine type of creature. But the reports are very, very sparse. There's word of mouth to a newspaper reporter, or nothing that was ever posted, or an absolute report taken by a researcher or an investigator. So a lot of stuff was just little things like somebody was chased, or it killed some animals or something like that. But there was never anything documented, absolutely documented, of any of these creatures being aggressive. Now, we had one case a couple years ago, 2 years ago, as a matter of fact, where a hunter was up in a tree, deer hunting, and he was up in his tree stand, and he was watching one through his rifle scope, and it actually came down within a very short yardage distance of where he was sitting up in a tree, and kind of squatted down and started growling at him, and then just basically got up and walked off. And then we got a report week before last, and this was up in Rothrock State Park in Pennsylvania. It's in our research area, in our zone. And what happened was three couples. They all live in the same area, a couple blocks of each other. They all know each other. They all grew up in the same area together, and they go into Rothrock State Park, which is right outside of the area they live in. And we're on a walking path, which they've done many, many times. And it was just one of those real nice days that we had in between kind of the rotten days that we're having right now. So it was a clear day. It was sunny. It was kind of warm. It was in the high 60s, low 70s. And as they kind of rounded a really slight bend, they noticed this 8-foot to 10-foot tall bipedal canine standing at the edge of the woods. The first two folks, husband and wife, saw it, and they stopped. And then the other two behind them stopped. The last two went around the second two to go up to the front to see what was going on, and the minute the lady saw it, she lost it. She started screaming and carrying on, and she just was out of her mind. And with that, the creature took 2 to 3 steps, they say. Now, the distance from where they stopped and they actually saw it, they said, was about 20 yards. And that 2 or 3 steps that the creature took toward them put him about 10 feet away.
Oh, my gosh.
Snarling, growling, showing teeth, making some motions with his arms, and they just turned around and ran for their lives. It didn't follow them. The one guy, the last guy in the group, the younger guy, did turn around to look, and he said it just stood there staring at him. And she had to get medical attention because they couldn't calm her down. And they're never going to go back again. That is the first case that I'm going to say the first one was the guy in the tree stand, but really wasn't aggression. I mean, it didn't try to go after him. It just squatted down, looked up at him, and growled. But this one here, this case, it actually went toward them. It made a motion of it like it was going to attack. And that was pretty scary. Now, we got that call, and we dispatched researchers to the area, talked to each one of them individually. They all described the same thing. It is exactly what we have always had described to us in size and shape, color of the eyes. I mean, everything was identical. Now, the closest report that we had to, we never had one in that particular park, but the closest one we had to that was approximately 20 miles away. Now, you know, the size and shape of this thing and the way it's built, covering 20 miles is nothing, you know. So we are going up there, well, not end of May, first week of June, I believe it is. We're going to go up for the weekend and go to that exact spot. The one guy said he will take us to the exact spot. Nobody else will do that, but he said he would do that. I have contacted all the couples, how they're doing. And, you know, first couple nights there were nightmares, and one guy said he drank half a bottle of gin and he doesn't even drink. The lady that flipped out, she doesn't even want to talk about it, so nobody brings it up when they're around her. But she let out, the one guy said she let out a terrifying scream that when she screamed, everybody was staring at the creature. But when she started screaming, you know, it was just like you could see this thing almost go like on alert, like almost into an attack mode. You know, he just stiffened up and started moving forward and showing teeth and the whole 9 yards. And he says to me, he said, "What would you have done?" I said, "Exactly what you did. I would have took off." I said, "You know, what are you going to do? You're not going to stand there." So that's the first recorded multi-witness testimony that we have that these things can be aggressive. They've never showed aggression like some of the old reports said, and I don't consider that the one squatting looking up at the guy in the tree is aggression because he didn't do anything aggressive. He just growled at him a little bit and took off. But this thing made advances toward those people, and I'm just glad it worked out the way it did, that it stopped and they took off. So, but that has put something into our heads now that this thing could be aggressive. Now, whether that lady screaming was something that the creature never heard before, or the creature took that as some type of attack mode that the person was going into, just like when we had the one in another county not far from there that stood looking into a still pond at night on a full moon. Maybe he never saw anything like himself before. Maybe it's like looking into a mirror. So, I mean, these things, it's just like every time we get involved in this, that we learn something new about these creatures. I do believe they're out there. I know for sure they're not described as dogmen are. These things are a breed of their own. And we could be dealing with one because, like I said, they cover the way they're built, they cover a lot of ground fast. And all that area, there's very few roads that go, connect from one county to the other. There might be a main road, but one of those things crossing the main road would be nothing. That's just a couple feet, a couple steps. So, or there's more than one. Now, I saw one report a while back where a gentleman thought he saw two together, but he wasn't sure of that. He said one, it could have been, just he looked twice, or, he looked back and it wasn't where it was, and there was one other one there. So he wasn't really sure that he saw two, but the chances of just one being out there, I think in my mind, is remote. I think you have more than one, and we know now to take more precautions when we go out. I mean, we usually only, arm ourselves at night. But I think from now on, when we get on scene and we're setting up and stuff, I think since this happened in broad daylight on a nice sunny day, and which most of them do happen in daylight, we only had one that was in the evening that it was dark. And the only thing that, the only reason the people saw what they saw was, and that was two guys, the only reason they saw what they saw was because they had a big campfire going. So I think we will arm ourselves from now on when we get on site. I'm not going to take the chance. And I always take somebody along that's a lot slower than I am.
Don't even remind me of that. Bazooka Joe keeps telling me that the reason why he brings me along is if we start getting attacked by something like Dogman or Bigfoot or even a grizzly bear, he's shooting me in the leg so he can get away.
Well, he could trip you. You know what I mean?
No,
anyway,
I would trip him.
It is what it is, and everybody says, "What do you think?" And I keep telling people the same thing. I think it's a relic. I think it's been there a long, long time, and it's still there. And it is what it is. I mean, the descriptions are all alike. They're not different. I mean, if they started getting different, like shorter, taller, skinnier, thicker, fatter, female, male, if that was the case, then it's not what I think it is. But every description, right down to the last toenail on this thing, is exact. I mean, everybody tells the exact same thing. And the people that have reported this are professional people, law enforcement individuals, hikers, people who have been hiking a long time, retired Air Force pilot, a combat pilot. I mean, it's not like, we haven't had one teenager report this thing, not one. I think the youngest person involved in this was the young lady and her husband at the pond, and they were in their mid to late 30s. And everybody else from there on up has been in that from 35 to 50 range. So they know what they're looking at.
When you have people having this close of an encounter where this creature seemed to be a little bit more aggressive in, I don't know if the right term is marking its territory or trying to scare the people out of there, is this the start of something a little bit more, Butch, in your eyes, or was this just a one-off?
No, I think this is the start of something. If we're dealing with the same one, if there's only one and we're dealing with the same one, I mean, until 2 years ago, they would just stand along a tree line or just inside of a tree line where you could barely see them. And then we had them reach out as a car passed, reach out to try to grab the car. We've had a law enforcement officer and his buddy where they were accosted on a walking trail, and it followed them, a good quarter of a mile. And then when they turned around, it followed them the other way back, and that's when they stopped and turned around to see what it was. And they just stood there in the middle of that walking path staring at them. So I think if it had a fear of humans, I think that fear is long gone. And people with weapons, it doesn't seem to faze them at all, because that's happened a number of times. The one fella up at the swamp area at Moshannon State Park, he was only 5 feet away from it. He was holding a 12-gauge Magnum. And they all have this, everybody's had a weapon, has the same feeling, like, don't shoot it, this is going to get real bad real quick. And they have the feeling they're not going to survive it.
Bringing tennis balls. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I had one person on a radio show ask me one time, what would I do if it came charging at me? I thought about a minute, and I went, I'm just going to yell, sit. see what happens.
Hand signals, you know. Sit down,
and I
roll over.
I want to answer Timmy's question here on the chat. He's saying, what about the elderly North Carolina woman who was hiking, got ripped apart? Any idea yet on the creature? No, they have no idea what killed that woman. All the stuff that was taken at her autopsy, fluids, and everything that was done, that was that sent out to be looked at to see what what DNA they can get. Nothing. They have nothing. So, hey, it is what it is.
Normally when creatures are startled in the wild, they will attack, or they're protecting their territory, or they're young, or they're injured. Do we know if this was any of those cases in this report that you received?
No. Mm-mm. I'm thinking
that's
no.
Too bad. That's too bad.
It's one of those things where if we were having these reports consistently, but we have such a large like a quiet time between these reports, and they jump all over that research area, and you're looking at 180 mile by 150 mile by 80 mile area, and like one report will be in the middle of that research area, and then the next one will show up maybe 2 or 3 months later at the northern end of that research area. The only thing I guess that would prove that there's more than one is if we would have one, way up in the research area and one way down the research area at the same time. But we haven't had anything like that. They're always very close together. And when I say close together, 20 miles or less. The first two were within 10 mile. As a matter of fact, the first one was on one side of the mountain, and the second one was on the other side of the mountain. So we're assuming that was the same creature. And we're looking at trying to get a hold of a park ranger that they pulled a 275-pound black bear out up in Cambria County, and it was pretty much shredded. And they don't know what killed that either. So, unfortunately, he's not returning our calls or answering our emails. So, I would really be interested in finding out what caused that.
We only got about 2.5 minutes here before we got to go to break here at the top of the hour. Butch Witkowski, Strange Days, is our guest tonight on the show. Now, Butch, with this case that these people seen, how have they been with the trauma of almost being attacked by this creature?
The old reports, I would probably say there were like 30 or 40 reports like that. They were either chased or the one guy said he was actually struck by it. But again, those reports were so sparse that they didn't even make sense. But what did make sense was half of those were in the research area, the Lichen Loop. So, all we can do is try to get there as fast as we can. With this past case with the 3 couples, our guy was on scene in less than 8 hours, so everything was pretty much fresh in everybody's mind. And when they went to the scene, and they didn't find any. That's another thing. We don't find any tracks. None. I don't get that at all. We found one impression, but that was early on in the investigation, when the investigation started.
Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Now, with these reports that you were getting, with the recent ones, and we got about 30 seconds left, do people need to worry now? Is this a new worry in the bipedal research?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, definitely. Because just the fact that it advanced on those people, and the one guy said he swore and declared it was only 2 steps, and the other guy said, well, possibly 2, maybe 3. But he went from 20 yards to 10 feet away. So that's a pretty big stride.
Very big stride. Butch, you hold on. We're going to cut through to the top of the hour here on Spaced Out Radio. Butch Witkowski, Strange Days, happens the first, I'll make that the last Monday of every month. Butch's website, uf4cop.com. Coming up, we're going to get Butch's take on the new UFO news. Did the Pentagon really release the 3 videos? Might be something up with that. We'll find out from Butch right after this.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to.
Canada's largest UFO conference is ready to roll in Toronto this September 21st and 22nd at the Alien Cosmic Expo. This year is about the experience. Listen to the stories of Dave Scott, Travis Walton, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Ryan Stacey, Richard Dolan, Leslie Mitchell-Clark, and more. Get your tickets now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Welcome back to the second hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow night on the show, Ian Holt is back. We're going into the paranormal, horror, suspense, a little bit of everything. 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates, KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, UPORN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, and WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia. On the digital side, hi to everyone listening in on Revolution Radio and Deep Talk Radio. Remember, if you've missed any of our shows, you can check them out for free on our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Wow, he made it easy on me. Floppy. Floppy is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on the mighty SOR. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We are currently under construction, building a brand new, more interactive website for you, so please stay tuned. We're a couple of weeks away. The final Monday of every month, we are joined by Butch Witkowski from UFO Cop, his website, ufocop.com, and we do this show called Strange Days, where we get into a little bit of everything from ghosts to UFOs to bipedal canines running through the forest and missing people. Butch, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
Last week, a week ago today, there was a major story that came out about the United States Navy finally listening to their pilots and crew members who were out on the oceans. And what they were listening about was about all of these darn UFOs that they seemingly or allegedly had no place to report them, so the Navy publicly announced that they are now getting into the UFO business by holding and recording a lot of these reports instead of allegedly throwing them in the garbage. Now, publicly, that sounds great, but I think the real question is, really? They were really throwing them out? I don't think so. What's your thoughts on that story, Butch?
Nah, well, it was a matter of time. You got the new Space Command starting, so that's going to be involved. You have the Russian Navy for many, many years, starting right after World War II, were reporting UFOs. The Navy has had a lot of close encounters with UFOs and USOs over the years, from tracking submarines to following ships. And the fighter pilots, from the carriers and stuff, they've been reporting these things for a lot of years, and that stuff was kind of always poo-pooed. Nobody paid any attention to it because they figured, you're not going to get anything out of it anyway. But, I'm going to say 5-6 years ago, when the government was actually reporting all of its reports to Bigelow Aerospace, and that was commercial pilots and military pilots. And they were getting nowhere. And I think there have been that many close encounters in the skies and on the seas that they just can't fluff it off anymore. I mean, they are what they are. And, a lot of these pilots, they're not gonna, keep their mouths shut forever. And a lot of guys that were out of the service were talking about these things. I spoke at a conference in Kansas where a gentleman from the Army, they had a craft hovering right above his tank command. I mean, there was, they reported it, and nothing ever became of it, and he just couldn't live with it anymore, and he brought it out at that conference, and it was amazing. So these things are happening. I never doubted it. I mean, when I saw my first one, standing there with all those folks in my yard, and, you know, I've never seen one alone since. I've always been with somebody, so I know I'm not nuts. But it was just a matter of time. I think eventually all the military will be putting reports into wherever they're going to put them. I have no idea. You know, the Navy says they're going to collect them, but you got to remember our Navy is the oldest investigative spook group in the world. I mean, they started back in, you know, 1700s collecting intelligence, and they're still the top of the intelligence ladder. It's the U.S. Navy. So you have that, and along with, I have no idea if MUFON is still giving their stuff to Bigelow Aerospace. I don't know if the commercial airlines are still giving their stuff to Bigelow Aerospace, but I do know that the military doesn't do it anymore. But you know, and I don't remember what year it's from, but the manual for disaster control for firemen, you know, fire companies. There's a whole section on there what to do if a UFO lands or crashes, how to handle it, what to do. And if you, as a civilian, try to get yourself involved in what they're doing, you can go to jail for 5 years and a $50,000 fine. And you can probably find that book. I believe it's called Fireman's Incident Command. It's a paperback. I think you can get it on eBay anymore. It's still there. But there's a whole section in there on how to handle a UFO crash.
I understand that the Navy has been involved with this, and it's kind of strange because even I asked that question a long time ago. What does the U.S. Navy have to do with space? But apparently they have been a very large leader in satellites, in space technology, in NASA, so on and so forth. And so for them to take the lead in this, what really surprised me about that report, though, Butch, was that the Navy said the Air Force was involved in this. Mm-hmm. However, the Air Force refused to comment on it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the Air Force, I don't think they've had as many run-ins with UFOs as the Navy has. You know, the Air Force, from a little bit I know about the Air Force with a couple of relatives that were in the Air Force, they don't fly like the Navy does. You know, the Navy, if they have ships at sea, they have planes protecting them. They're in the sky all the time. And, you know, search and rescue missions, combat missions, carriers, the carrier fleets, Air Force bases pretty much stay within country. You know, they're not out over the ocean. The Russian military has, for years and years, as far as I can think back, have been reporting UFOs and USOs shadowing their ships, shadowing their planes, chasing their submarines. I mean, there's one report where one actually came out of the water within 150 yards of a Russian destroyer in the Black Sea. And there was one picture taken. Well, I'm sure there were a lot of pictures taken, but they only ever produced one picture. And it is what it is. It looks like a saucer coming out of the water. I mean, you know, yeah, it could have been faked, but there's just so many things that take place under the auspices of the Navy and the Air Force, Army, and whatever, that we're just not privy to that information. When you read Project Blue Book, it's the same thing. I mean, you can tell after about 10 or 15 pages that they're just blowing smoke. You know, everything is what it isn't, and this is what it is, and this is what it is. But they have that one section is still there. I mean, there's like, I forget, 1,300 or 1,400 unsolved cases. And when you look at Project Blue Book, there are some military reports in there. They've been blanked out and blacked out pretty much the whole page. But there's quite a few of military reports in there of flying saucers and undersea operations. So I know a lot of people think it's disclosure, but I don't know what they mean by disclosure anymore. I mean, there's so much information and so much evidence of these things up there now, from astronauts to, and not only our astronauts, but other astronauts, Russian cosmonauts, and you have Japan astronauts that, took some great pictures. So everybody's reporting them. I don't think there's disclosures needed. Evidently, with the Navy now putting that rule out there that now all this stuff is going to be collected by the Navy, that they've known for a long time that this stuff was going on. And it's just weird. Well, I always thought it was weird when the airlines, and that was the FAA that did that, pushed the reports to go directly to Bigelow Aerospace. And they had a contact name there, a contact phone number, a contact email for commercial pilots to actually make the reports directly to them. I don't know what happened to that. I haven't seen anything on that for months and months and months. But that was pushed by the FAA, and then all of a sudden it's now going to the Navy. So I guess we'll see what comes out of that.
Well, the other thing that came out today, George Knapp from KLAS TV and former guest on this show from a few weeks ago, stated on his newscast, broke the story that the Pentagon actually released those videos to Luis Elizondo of the gimbal film, the Tic Tac, and the Go Fast, and apparently there are a few more. He had Elizondo on television saying that before he left the Pentagon and the DoD, that he was actually working on getting these videos to be released for public viewing because he felt it was important. And Knapp was able to break that story, and good on him for that today. But the fact that the Pentagon had recently, as in just in the last year, been denying the hell out of that story, to today we find out that they actually did give permission to release those. Shouldn't this be cause for concern from the American public that their own protection was hiding stories like this? And then, we were just kidding about that. We released it.
Yeah, but there's so much going on in this country with politics and lunatics and mass shootings and missing people and, just a whole range of stuff. I don't really think people give that much of a rip anymore about UFOs. If I had to take a stab at it, I'd say pretty much everybody knows there's something up there. They just don't know who they are or what they're doing. And then you got a lot of people that have for years pushed that everything up there is ours. Well, it's not ours. And I don't know. I don't know where ufology's gone as far as reporting. I know there are a couple of reporting sites on the net that take a lot of reports, but all they're doing is, they take the report and they post it. I mean, there's nobody going out there looking for anything. The Russians aren't talking at all. I mean, the French put out their reports years ago. Kamada reports came out 5 or 6 years ago. I mean, they published everything. Belgium's published everything. I mean, the reports are out there. But again, a lot of reports, but very little evidence, photographs or video. There's some, but not a whole lot. And the British have put their stuff out. So the United States is the only one that hasn't put it out. And now with this stuff going to the Navy, maybe the Navy will publish it. I mean, that's really going to be up to them. I doubt very much if they'll do it, but everybody else has done it. So, the country with the most UFO reports is still Brazil. Figure that one out.
But how does that affect the American public on a daily basis? Because for so long they have been told this hasn't been happening, and now, boom, it's right in their face. 2 big reports within 8 days.
I think people got used to being lied to a long time ago. I really do. Conferences that I've attended, conferences I've attended where I've had people come up and say, I don't believe a word of this stuff. And then somebody will go up and do their little spiel up on the stage, and then they'll, I'll be outside or something or walking around, and they'll stop me and they'll say, like, now that was interesting. I can buy that one. So I think it's who tells it, how it's told, and what the situation, what really happened. I mean, there are a lot of mysteries in ufology. Not just in this country, but everywhere. I mean, look at Dyatlov. There's one.
True.
You have, then you have cases here, Lonnie Zamora in the Socorro case. I mean, where there was evidence. Presque Isle in Pennsylvania, where there was evidence. There were prints from the craft. There was an unknown substance that wouldn't sink into the sand. Just laid there in a glob. That evidence was all taken, and nothing ever came of it. I mean, there's a lot of pictures. I mean, it was there. It happened. The Air Force was on the scene. Evidence was all collected, and that was the end of it. I mean, nobody knows where the evidence went. And there was no statements after Presque Isle from the Air Force or anybody else. And that's still an open case in Project Blue Book.
On Twitter, Marty has a comment here that I want to get your opinion on. He says, personally, I believe the U.S. Navy, as well as the U.S. Air Force, are trying to maintain their territory when it comes to the proposed Space Force. I think that is why they are doing what they are doing with UFO information. What's your thoughts on that, Butch?
That sounds pretty good to me. I mean, that makes sense. You have... I guess the thing that bothers me is nobody really knows what the Space Force is yet. Is it a separate branch, or is it going to be units from other branches? Is NASA going to play some kind of role in it? Because if it is, NASA just lies their butt off every time they open their mouth. So, what exactly? We don't know exactly what the Space Force is going to be. I mean, and what's their purpose? What's their objective? What are they supposed to do? I mean, if I remember right, Russia had a Space Force for years. I'm pretty sure they still do. Matter of fact, I think they're the ones that control all the missiles and stuff. But what is our Space Force going to do? I mean, what are they going to patrol? Or are they just going to take care of satellites and Star Wars weapons in space? There's just so much information out there, and sometimes when you see some of that information that's out there, especially from NASA, what they're doing is they're just force feeding the public a load of crap, and to me, it's just bizarre. I don't understand the Space Force and what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. So until that comes out, I guess I'll just be sitting here just as dumb as everybody else is when it comes to that. But the leader in reporting is still Russia. Russia reports everything as far as UFOs. And the Russian Navy especially, I mean, because that's where most of the reports are coming from. You'll very seldom do you ever see or read a report from Mother Russia, like, something flying over the Urals or something flying over St. Petersburg or Moscow or anything like that. I mean, their stuff is mostly overseas. I mean, they patrol a large area of the sea just like we do. And I'm sure our Navy has a hell of a lot more than they're telling us as far as what's been seen and photographed. So I guess we're all going to have to sit and wait and see what the Space Force is going to do. And what my biggest concern is what role NASA is going to play, because everything NASA's ever told the public has been a lie. I mean, you've had astronauts report and make photographs, take photographs of stuff on the moon, around the moon, taking off from the moon, a side of the ISS, a side of, on different flights with the old capsules and stuff, photographs and video. Nobody's ever seen that stuff. The astronauts swear and declare that's what happened. It was there. They were there. They saw what it is. Other astronauts from other countries have seen what it is. NASA says, nope, that didn't happen. And how many times were astronauts making reports of something that shouldn't be there when NASA cut them off? That's happened hundreds of times. So ufology is what ufology is. It's just a mystery. Although there's a lot of information, a lot of evidence, a lot of video, a lot of photographs, it's still just going to be a mystery.
We got about a minute left. Quick question from Gail here. You said she's asking, what has NASA lied about?
Pretty much everything the astronauts ever reported as far as UFOs. Gordon Cooper, look up his statements from when he was an astronaut. I mean, he took pictures, he saw what he saw, he reported it, and in the middle of his transmission back to NASA, they shut him down. They just shut the radio off. Then when he was out and not an astronaut anymore, then he started telling his story. Then they said he was a lunatic. He always looked coherent. I mean, I've heard him speak in person. I mean, he always seemed coherent to me, and I believe his story. There's a great book on NASA, and when we take our break, I'll go into my library and look at the name of it. If you want to read about NASA and what they've pulled over the years, that lady that came forward a few years ago,
yes,
who was actually reading the mapping and the photographs.
Yes, we've had her on the air. Butch, I got to get you to hold on. We're going to go to break here on Spaced Out Radio. Butch Witkowski's Strange Days. We're going to continue talking UFOs right after this. Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, This is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
Coming up this September 21st and 22nd, all UFO eyes will be focused on Toronto for the 4th Annual Alien Cosmic Expo. Come listen to some of the biggest names and experiencers in ufology. Travis Walton, Paul Hellyer, Richard Dolan, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Randy Kramer, and Spaced Out Radio's own Dave Scott. Tickets are on sale now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Great to have you along for the ride. Remember, if you've missed part of this show or any others, you can always head on over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate that. And, of course, our website, spacedoutradio.com. Currently under construction. We're building a brand new site for you, so stay tuned. We're still about a week or two away. The final Monday of every month, we get into everything weird and strange with Strange Days with Butch Witkowski from UFOcomp.com, based out of Pennsylvania. We're talking UFOs. Butch, welcome back.
Yes, sir. Good to be back.
Now, you mentioned to the audience about a book where you found a lot of information in regards to NASA. That was back when Gail asked the question, what is NASA actually lying about? Tell us about it.
Well, NASA's pretty much lied about a lot of things, from stuff that's been found on different areas of the moon to sightings by astronauts. The book, Dark Mission, is actually the secret history of NASA. It was written by Richard C. Hoagland and Mike Barra. It's really a good book. It kind of puts out the hard evidence that there are secret brotherhoods that dominate NASA. Their policies are more aligned with ancient religious and occult mystery schools, a facade of rational science that government agencies have promoted to the world for over 50 years. I mean, it is... talks about the space race and with China and Russia and India, and a lot of information from disaffected NASA employees, information about the lunar and Martian discoveries, which till this day they say they have nothing on Mars or nothing about Mars, but in the book you're going to see there's a lot of pictures, a lot of photographs taken from satellites. Not satellites, but Mars landers. There have been a lot of astonishing discoveries, that have been suppressed for decades, and there's actually a photograph on the cover of a Freemasonic flag on the moon. By the 32nd astronaut, Buzz Aldrin, who took that picture. And it was later presented to the Scottish Rite headquarters in Washington, D.C. What does that tell you?
Tells us a lot.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Sure does. Sure does. When it comes to the United States Navy, which we were talking about in the last half hour, and they're now talking about how they are holding on to these reports. What do you think they did with all the older ones that were allegedly thrown out, put in the garbage, so to speak?
Well, I don't think they were thrown out. I think they were just locked away. There are lots of things that, we'll never see. The Kennedy assassination, reports came out, but you're never going to see the real report. There was just an article I was reading the other day when Abraham Lincoln was shot, that John Wilkes Booth was not shot and killed at a barn by a soldier, that he actually lived out his life under different names. And they showed pictures of this guy, the original pictures of John Wilkes Booth, and then some pictures that were taken like 10 years apart of the same guy, different names, that somebody was actually following him that worked for some branch of the government. I don't know what that was. They just said for a branch of the government. They followed him for years until he actually died of old age. So why wasn't that story ever told? I mean, there's a lot of stories that were never told. And NASA, I mean, for as open as they seem to be, they're that much more secretive than anybody would ever believe. And their tentacles run into many different groups. In the book, if you read the book, it just sets you back in your chair, and you can understand how easy it is for them to get away from anything, because, like, who else is going to tell you what's going on but NASA? I mean, there's no other space agency out there that'll give you information. Everything goes through NASA. I mean, even ESETI, with the radio telescopes and stuff like that, everything that they get, no matter what it is, including the WOW signal, which was the only thing ever published to the public, is controlled by NASA.
So who's controlling NASA? Do you think the four or the big four in the military right now are the ones who are controlling this UFO race led by the United States Navy, telling NASA what can be done and what can't? Oh,
I think it's the Navy, absolutely. Like I said, the Navy is the oldest intelligence outfit in the world. I mean, if you would, I forget what they say, there's 16 top secret clearances you can have. The president is like at number 12 or something like that, or 11. I'm pretty sure 16 or 18. They're all run by the Navy. Everything's run by the Navy. Everything intelligence-wise is run by the Navy. The Navy has the biggest intelligence and investigative force in the world. I mean, yeah, the Marine Corps has investigations, but they run out of the Navy because they're a part of the Navy. The Army has the Army intelligence, but they do very little. The Air Force, their intelligence really doesn't amount to anything. Everything goes through the Navy. And I think they started in 1731, 1732. With their investigative force, which has been in operation ever since.
Do you think this is just the start to the rest of the services announcing what they know about UFOs?
I think they'll give that information to the Navy. I think everything's going to come out of the Navy. It's a whole lot easier to control information going out when it's going through one branch than you have like the Coast Guard, the Marines, Air Force, Army, everybody giving information out. They might give out something they shouldn't. So everything's going to go through the Navy. I'm pretty sure of that. But it's going to get interesting.
And here I thought it was competition for the fittest.
It's competition of who has the most information on who. That's what it is.
Do you think this will actually allow more pilots and crew members of naval ships and carriers to come forward, much like we have seen with David Fravor and other people from the 2004 USS Nimitz incident?
Oh, yeah. Everything... Everybody's going to be reporting to the Navy. I don't care who it is, CIA, DOD, all the alphabets. They'll all be reporting to the Navy as far as this is concerned. What the Navy chooses to release will probably be released through NASA, and it probably won't be much. It'll be a lot of... backwards information, stuff that may sound interesting, but when you start to look it up or start to research it, it's really not going to come out to be anything much at all.
I get you there. I'm just hoping that more people now feel comfortable in coming out, because this could, with the story coming out last week on the Politico about the U.S. Navy, and then this week the confirmation that the videos did come from the Pentagon. I mean, could this be just drips of water out of a UFO tap, or is this the start of maybe those tap waters being turned on?
No, I think it's just going to drip, 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 keep everybody happy. As long as the people think they're getting information that's valid, they're not going to ask a whole lot of questions. It's going to be a cross between information from the Navy and discoveries by NASA. And they're going to work hand in hand. That's absolute. The connections that researchers will try to make is going to be that the Navy is running the show, and NASA is just a flunky situation that gets stuff up in the air. And you have a lot of private contractors now that are putting satellites up for us. China has really stepped up their game as far as putting stuff up. Look, Iran just shot a satellite up there. So Iran has ballistic missiles, or they wouldn't be able to put something in space, although they swear and declare they don't. So, I mean, there's a lot of countries now that are putting stuff up. Japan, Israel just put up a satellite, a moonshot that failed. It crashed on landing. But who would have thought little Israel could even get to the moon? So there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's so secretive. I mean, you can't get any information. I mean, Freedom of Information Acts, that's a joke when it comes to trying to get stuff out of NASA or the Navy. I mean, it's a bad joke.
Well, I'm just wondering, for the sake of the public, if this is some sort of green light to now talk about this if you have a previous military career, because let's face it, a lot of people take that oath that they take extremely seriously, even decades after they have been in the service.
Oh, yeah, it's that, or you're just not going to wake up some morning, you're just going to start eating dirt. I mean, you know, the Apollo missions, they say, were the ones that found the most and did the most. But when you look up the Apollo missions, there's very little information on them. Very few pictures, and it's just funny that the three astronauts that were killed in the fire, remember that story?
Yes.
Okay, well, those gentlemen there, two of those were complaining about Martian artifacts that disappeared. But they were nowhere near Mars. They were never near Mars. So they say. But the more they bitched and complained about it, then all of a sudden we have a fire that kills all three of them.
A lot of people would say, Butch, that sounds a little far-fetched.
Yeah, they would. But it's in this secret history of NASA. It's documented. They got, I think there's 3 or 4 pages in there from the one, I think it was Gus Grissom, his complaint to them about photographs that he turned over and never got copies of, and he wanted the copies. And all of a sudden they were classified, and he started complaining about it, and that was the end of that.
So do you sit there?
There's just so many things, Dave, with the connections between NASA and the Department of Defense, the Pentagon. And I could see the military applications that would go through NASA, but not everything goes through NASA. It was a military application. So where did they get this power that they can, doctor photographs or turn off communications with the astronauts while they're reporting an unknown outside the window of a space station or a capsule? I mean, why would they even do that? Probably because they were told to do it.
Very well. Could very well be. Could very well be. But, I mean, Butch, there is a lot that goes on that we do not know about. And maybe it's for good reason, maybe it's not. Do you think that the government really knows what is going on with this UFO phenomena, or do you think they are in the dark like the rest of us?
No, they know. They know. They've known for many, many years. There's just too much stuff out there that came out in little bits and pieces. People that had real information were kind of written off as lunatics. People that said they worked at Area 51 in particular said they never worked there, but yet the guy had his ID card, his pay scale, his income tax records all showed that he was working there. And then you have people that worked at on different projects, like the Gemini project and the Apollo projects, that when they were questioned about certain things, they just acted like they didn't know anything about it, but yet they were like in charge of that, or in particular, they had some kind of inside information. And it's just too many unanswered questions. But if anybody has a real need to know about the history of NASA, I recommend the book highly. It gives you there's a lot of photographs in there that are undoctored, and there's a lot of information on the connections with the Freemasons and stuff like that, which, the first time I heard that the Freemasons were involved in NASA and the space flights, I'm going like, now what the heck would they be involved? You know what I mean? What, they're going to have some kind of ceremony up on the moon or something? No. They're up to their necks in that stuff. And most of the people that were running NASA, and still are in some cases, were all members of Freemasonry. And that just is bizarre in itself.
Butch, we got about 3.5 minutes here until we got to go to break at the top of the hour. One more UFO question in regards to this, if you don't mind. Because in the end, it's all about this whole disclosure movement, or alleged disclosure movement, which many believe are now and are saying now that it's going to happen in 2020. When you talk to your sources and the people you deal with on a daily basis regarding these subjects, do you think 2020 is the year where we're going to get a plethora more of information, maybe even disclosure, or do you think that it's going to remain same old, that you've heard this hype all before?
I've heard this hype before. Last time it was going to happen, it was going to be 2009, then it was going to be 2013, and then again it was supposed to happen in 2016, and now they say 2020. So, they give people a date. People forget about things. It's not like they're sitting there waiting. Oh, you have a couple guys out there. I mean, that's all they do is work on disclosure. But John Alexander, high up in the military and the DOD and the Spookland, in 2008, I had dinner with him in Washington, D.C., and he told me right out, he said, disclosure, what do you need disclosure for? We all know they're up there. Just doesn't make any sense. He said, what are they going to disclose? That there's flying saucers? He said, we already know that. He said, how many pictures do you want? How many reports do you want to see? He said, they're there. End of story. So he said, what's this disclosure all about? And I went like, I don't know.
Well, John Alexander said the exact same thing on this show. He's like, it's already happened. The public's just not admitting it. So does that fall more on the public's shoulders and maybe the media's shoulders that they've ignored this story?
I think a lot. It's a little bit of both, but you know, although people, you know, want to know about UFOs and space and all that stuff, and there are some people that are really into it, and then you have some researchers that are really into it, and you have some researchers that are, they're kind of into it, kind of not into it, but it is amazing. It's an amazing subject. I'll probably follow it till I croak. But as far as disclosure, I mean, it's already happened. Like John Alexander said, it's done. I mean, what more can you say? There's things in the sky we don't know about, or there's things in the sky we do know about. And that's it. So now it's kind of focused on the planets. What's on the moon? What's on the dark side of the moon? What's on Mars? What's on other planets? It's amazing that, you know, some of the photographs from the Mars lander that are in this book, but you can't find them on the internet. Even if you go to the lander site on NASA, none of those photographs are there. And the lady you had on your show that told everybody flat out,
yes.
Look,
Donna Hare. Hare.
I doctored these photographs. That was my job. I'm like, wow.
It's kind of incredible. It's kind of incredible. My friend, you hold on. We are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. We got Butch Witkowski for another 30 minutes on Spaced Out Radio. More cryptid, ghost talks, and maybe an update on some missing people. We'll be back right after this. At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Come hang out with Spaced Out Radio, where we own the night. This is Carl. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and during the show, use the hashtag Spaced Out Radio to chat with us live. On Instagram, at Dave Scott SOR. On Facebook, give our page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. SOR archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. Come join us, or I will come join you. See you at your window.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories Are you listening?
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
On the first Tuesday of every month, I encourage you to come along for a journey with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You. Together, we will take a look at how to access the highest expression of yourself and change your life. Consciousness, ET contact, health, and wellness, we can talk about it all. So come along for a spiritual ride with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You, only on Spaced Out Radio.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR, where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com, where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com, and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio. Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Canada's largest UFO conference is ready to roll in Toronto this September 21st and 22nd at the Alien Cosmic Expo. This year is about the experience. Listen to the stories of Dave Scott, Travis Walton, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Ryan Stacey, Richard Dolan, Leslie Mitchell-Clark, and more. Get your tickets now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Welcome back to the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott. Always a pleasure to have you with us. Tomorrow night of the show, we get into the paranormal, horror. We'll even get into some music. Ian Holt is back, 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. Hi to everyone listening in on KDUN, AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, WQEE 99.1 FM in Newnan, Georgia, and UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans. On the digital side, Revolution Radio, Deep Talk Radio, great to have you with us tonight. Remember, if you've missed any of this show or any of our other previous shows, you could go to our archives for free at youtube.com/spaced out radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Floppy. Floppy is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on the mighty SOR. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, currently under construction. We're rebuilding it for you, so please stay tuned. It'll be well worth it. Probably another week or two. For the final time tonight, we introduce Butch Witkowski. Strange Days happens the final Monday of every month. Butch's next appearance will be on Monday, May 27th. And we always love it when Butch is here. His website, uforcop.com. Butch, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yes, sir. A pleasure. Always.
I always have people asking, when it comes close to your date of coming on the show, is there anything new in the Todd Seas case?
Lon Strickler from Phantoms and Monsters is putting out a book. Should be out in the next few weeks. And I wrote a whole section of the book on the Todd Seas case. How we got involved in it, what we found, who was lying, the stupid stuff that was impossible to happen. And we get little bits and pieces. After all these years, we still get little bits and pieces. And it's at the point now where I often tell my guys that are involved in that case that, 5 or 6 more little pieces and we're going to have an answer. Now, when we get those 5 or 6 pieces, who knows? But it's people after a while talk, or people say something they shouldn't have said, and it fits into what we're looking for.
Do you think that this case will ever be solved?
Yes, I do. Yep. Look, there's only 3 things that could have happened. 1, he was murdered. Well, that's out the window. 2, it was an abduction that went bad. Possible. 3, you'd have to believe that he was this knocked out druggie, which we find no evidence of that at all, anywhere. And just the fact that the amount of ingested cocaine that was found in his body, the residual amount anyway, the guy wouldn't have walked 10 feet without falling over dead. Even a hardcore junkie would have collapsed. And this guy walks a mile from that point where the ATV was found across rocky ground that when I walked over it with sneakers on, the rocks were unbearable almost, and yet he had no marks on his feet. Either that or I got the first real case of a zombie.
Anything that's pushing it a little farther?
Yeah, it is. We've gotten some reports from law enforcement officers that those we haven't made public at all, but they set us in another direction to look. And it's just, like I said, there's little bits and pieces still missing that'll actually nail it down to what we think happened or what could have happened. And I really hope it closes up soon because, I mean, it's been going on now for 9 years, I think, 9 years or more. So time to bring it to an end. But I don't want to bring it to an end by just throwing out some, this is what I think happened, without anything to back that up. So hopefully it'll move on shortly. At least I'm hoping it will. And if we can't come to a conclusion, that's what we're going to publish. That this is all the information we have. This is copies of the evidence that we have, statements that we have. So that'll be that. It'll just either go solved or unsolved, one or the other. But we gave it our best shot.
Well, I guess that's all you can do is try and give it your best shot. What would you need to break open this case?
There's two people we need to find, and they face the earth. There is a gentleman that made a statement at the scene to another person that we've talked to twice. The story hasn't changed, but it just seems like he's given too much information when he wasn't given any information before of any consequence. So I don't know if he's trying to set us off on the wrong track. A nurse that was on the scene that now lives down in the Carolinas, we're actually going to go down to interview her. She'd rather not put anything in writing, but she says she has information that would be valuable to the case. So I think we are going to meet her in Raleigh, North Carolina in, I believe it's August. First week of August, we're going to go down and meet with her. So we'll see what she brings. But she was on the scene from the minute the ambulance got there until the body was removed from the scene. So,
quick update for people who may not know who Todd Sees is. Why don't you give us a quick update on this case, who he is?
Todd Sees, 32-year-old white male, last seen alive at 1 a.m. in the morning, left to go out, hunt look for some preseason deer on his ATV, didn't come back at 12:30 like he normally did. 2 o'clock, family panicked. They started going out and look for him. Then the call went out for rescuers, 200 to 250 rescuers, fire, police, search and rescue teams, dogs, helicopters. Everybody was out looking for this guy. Couldn't find him. They did find the ATV. Keys were missing. And then the next day, he is actually found approximately 30 yards from his back door underneath a tree in advanced stages of decomposition. Autopsy was performed, and they said he died of cocaine toxicity. But yet, the strangest stuff, I guess, in the very beginning was the information that was not available for him: driver's license, military records, marriage license, high school records, where he worked, what he did for a living. There was just so many things that were missing. And then little by little over the years, we found this piece and we found that piece. So we did answer some of those questions, but there's still a lot of questions that are unanswered. How did a body in that short period of time go from even the autopsy says that, where they said the body of a normal adult male, no cancerous, no diseases of any type, go from, leaving the house at 6 a.m. in the morning and being found the next day in advanced stages of the body in advanced stages of decomposition with moderate composition around the face, head, arms. It just didn't come together. And the fact that he's found on his own property, and all those searchers had to be walking past that body. Because there was only one road that leads up to the mountains and to the power line where the ATV was found. So I had to be walking right past him, and if he was in that stage of decomposition in the middle of the summer like that in 90-degree heat, why didn't anybody smell him?
How did you get involved with this case?
Actually, I was giving a talk at a conference in Philadelphia on human mutilation, and I had read about the case that was put out by another UFO researcher who copied everything from a newspaper reporter, and I brought it into the conversation because there was stuff in the article that said he was mutilated and he was found with a dead snake laying aside of him and he had a big burn mark on it. It just didn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? It just made no sense whatsoever. A boot was up in a tree. You know, nobody said he was ever found on his own property. They just said he was found under a tree. So that could have been anywhere. That ridge is 6 square miles. I just related the story as told by the newspaper and that UFO person. As a matter of fact, I read that whole report. And then a couple days later, I was talking to one of my guys, and who's actually a detective for the Florida Highway Patrol. And I had sent it out to him, and he looked at it. He said, like, this makes no sense whatsoever. So he started looking into it. We put 4 guys together, myself, as a team. We were the only ones working on that case. And with information he gathered, I gathered, and then he came up from Florida, and we went to the scene. So the house was already empty. It was up for sale, but so we got to look at the house. We found the tree. I mean, we walked all over the place. You know, we've got a lot of photographs, video, and it still made no sense the way the story's told. And it's just dumb. It's just dumb. The coroner, when we contacted him and actually got the autopsy report and the toxicology report, he said he was never on the scene, but yet he's the one that pronounced the body at the scene. He said he wasn't the coroner at the time. Well, yeah, he was the coroner at the time. The other guy retired 2 years before him, and he won election. So it was just one little lie after another. Like the Point Township Police said that they were the investigators. Absolutely not. They were not the investigators. It was the Pennsylvania State Police that handled the case. So it just, when little things like that started popping up, that's when we really started digging. And the fact that we couldn't find any information on him was just nuts. That was crazy. Social Security death index. I mean, I could look up, matter of fact, I did. I looked up my dad's. There's his name, date of birth, where he worked, where we lived, our phone number, my mom's name, my name, my sister's name, my brother's name. Everybody, all that information was there. Put his name in the Social Security death index, and all you got was his name, date of birth, date of death, and he was married. That's it. The rest of it was blank.
So with that case, what has been the reaction from law enforcement agencies in your personal investigation of this, or even from the family's reaction?
0. Nothing. We had appointments to meet with the police up there, and they never showed up. We sat out in the parking lot waiting for them, and we finally went in after a few hours, and the lady said that they'd just gone to lunch, and she said, oh, well, they had other things to take on, and they had time to make up, so they went home. They wouldn't meet with us. We tried to meet with the fire department, which was the first rescue squad on the site, so we dialed their emergency number because there was nobody at the fire department, and they hung up on us.
Do you think it was aliens?
At this point, no. There's just a few more things to cover. Everybody liked the guy. I mean, he had no enemies. We couldn't find anybody that had a bad word to say about the guy. And we couldn't find anybody that ever said he used drugs either. He was big with the Little League. Everybody liked him. And guys on the Little League said, hey, if we had an inkling he was doing any kind of drugs, he wouldn't have gotten within 10 feet of these kids. So, you know, we checked all the halfway houses and police departments and narcotics units all over that part of the state. Nobody ever heard of him. They even gave us printouts.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yep, unbelievable.
Is this type of case, like Todd sees, is it an anomaly, or is there a lot of cases like this, Butch, that may be tied to strange occurrences, whether it is some sort of extraterrestrial type event, or even what David Paulides is talking about with his Missing 411 series? Is this kind of fall into that category?
Yeah, sure. Think of Dyatlov. I mean, pretty much the same thing. I mean,
so if you don't believe it's aliens, what do you believe it is? Human?
Could be, yes. Yeah, it could be. If we could find one individual, we could probably wrap it up on that, but as at this point, we haven't been able to find him from day one. Some of the stories that were in the original article, well, as a matter of fact, the whole story that was in the original newspaper articles, when the lady found out that, we were questioning what had happened, and we told her who we were and what we were doing, all the information from that newspaper archive was deleted. Fortunately, I had printed it out 2 days prior, so I have the whole section and articles that she made up. And she since has quit, retired, gone away, bye-bye, whatever. But it's funny because I know a police officer personally that worked the next township over from Northumberland County, and he knew nothing about the case. Nothing. He said, I never heard of that.
How come the families never reached out to you?
In the beginning, we had a niece that was interested in what was going on, and we kept up with her. Then she stopped talking to us, and then one time she called up, or I believe it was one of my guy, Mike from Florida, called her and was talking to her, asking her some questions. She was promised to get us pictures of him. We couldn't find any pictures of this guy. And she said, well, she never got it. And then he, kept calling her and asking her what happened to the pictures. And she said, her son was sick and she forgot, and she's going to dig it up, this, that, and the other thing. And then he brought my name into it as one of the main investigators. She said, I've never heard of him. Who is he? And so when she said that, then I sent him copies of the 3 emails that she sent to me. So basically, I'm not saying people are lying, but I'm just saying that they're just giving us some of the truth. She's also the one that said, she told us that the coveralls that he was wearing, he wasn't found in them, but they found the coveralls. They were looking for the keys for the ATV, and they went through all the pockets. There was nothing in the pockets, and yet when they turned those coveralls over to the police said that they found cocaine in the pocket.
So if the family doesn't want you investigating, the police don't want you investigating, firefighters don't want you investigating, why keep going on this case?
I want to know what happened. I want to know the truth. I think that's owed to him. I really do. And I told that to the family. And nobody has ever said that they don't want us investigating it. Nobody's ever said that. They're just not there to be questioned. Like the police aren't there, or, even the coroner. Everybody that we talked to. First time we contacted the coroner, he was trying to sell us some kind of a scholarship fund that he runs. So it's just weird. But people that you didn't think would help you out with anything, like at the cemetery, they gave us all kind of information. They even sent us pictures of the tombstone and everything else, what happened, who took care of the body, the undertaker. They gave us all kind of information. But it is what it is. And we have no information that we took word of mouth. Everything we have is written in black and white. Everything. Letterheads from who it came from, when, dated, time. So It's not like anything we put out there is going to be out of our mouths. It's going to be actual from the people we talk to in writing. And we'll see where it goes.
We got about 2.5 minutes with you, Butch, tonight. And I hope you do find that information, because I'm sure this isn't the only case like this in your area or around the world, but focusing mainly here on North America. At some point, do you expect someone to reach out to you, maybe close to the case, to finally maybe say what they found that they haven't released?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do.
Are you getting closer to that?
Yes, we are. And I think with that bit of information and a couple little tidbits that we just need to get yet, that'll pretty much wrap it up.
Interesting. When do you see that coming through?
Like I said, sometimes, like the one time we went 2 years, we never got a thing. And then we got like a barrage of stuff that came in, And it's just like we were all talking about it, and it's one of these things where people didn't want to talk about it, they don't want to talk about it, and then they decide after a number of years that, well, can't hurt to tell them this or something like that. And we get a little piece which leads us to something else, which takes us to something else. And it just keeps moving. But it's always moved forward. It's never moved backwards. It's always moved forward. We've always gotten new information. Nobody's ever given us the same information twice. So that's a good thing.
Butch, we got about 35, 40 seconds left with you tonight. Do me a favor. Let everybody know how they can get a hold of you if they have any information on the Todd Seas case or any information regarding the bipedal canines, UFOs, you name it.
They can contact me through the website, uforcop.com, uforcop.com. They can reach me on Facebook under UFORCOP. They can reach me on Facebook under my name, Butch Witkowski. They can reach me on Facebook or Twitter under UFO Research Center of Pennsylvania. If they go on the website, they can go down there to terrestrial contacts. My email's there. Just send me an email. If you want me to give you a call or you got information to send to me, just give me an email address, and I'll give you my email address, and we can take it from there.
Perfect. Butch Witkowski, we will talk to you on Monday, May 27th. Looking forward to it, buddy.
Okay, you take care now, Dave.
You take care as well. Coming up next, we're rounded third, heading for home. The SOR News Wire and the Thought of the Day. We'll be back with more Spaced Out Radio right after this.
This is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Coming up this September 21st and 22nd, all UFO eyes will be focused on Toronto for the 4th Annual Alien Cosmic Expo. Come listen to some of the biggest names and experiencers in ufology. Travis Walton, Paul Hellyer, Richard Dolan, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Randy Kramer, and Spaced Out Radio's own Dave Scott. Tickets are on sale now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch. Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on the Mighty SOR. Dave Scott, host of this Spaced Out Radio program, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Reminder to you, if you've missed part of this show or any others, you can always check them out again on our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. And our website, currently under construction, we're rebuilding it, because we're going to make it bigger and better for all of you. A little bit more interactive as well, so stay tuned. It should be ready to go within the next week or two. Let's get to the news. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show for the weird, the strange, the wacky, the WTF, those stories that will make you scratch your head. Our intrepid news director, Captain Shirk, puts them all together, and all of this brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. So we're going to kick things off right now. Now imagine driving in your vehicle, and you decide to put like 30 grand in a bag, maybe a suitcase, in the back of your pickup. And the next thing you know, as you're driving down, you've got this tail of money shooting from the back of your vehicle. Well, this is what happened in Michigan, where a man accidentally spilled $30,000 onto the highway. A cardboard box. Yeah, he put 30 grand of cash in a cardboard box. Right? And he's driving on US 31 in Grand Haven on Thursday when, I guess due to speed, the box opened up. And the next thing you know, there's Benjamins all over the place. Officers, when they responded, closed traffic lanes, were assisted by witnesses in picking up the money. The owner of the money told officers he'd been carrying approximately 30 grand, said he was inadvertently left the box on the bumper of his truck. The box fell off of his bumper while driving, and then it sent the cash across the roadway. Now, one woman returned $3,880 that she collected. Two teenagers handed in about $630. So that leaves about $23,000 unaccounted for. Okay, I have forgotten things on the roof of my car. Lost a cell phone that way. But if I'm carrying $30,000, I'm securing that in the cab before I do anything. And in reality, who carries 30 grand cash with them? Why isn't that in the bank? See, one of these people who believes that all banks are evil? That they're just there to hoard your money. I'll take the Illuminati interest that comes along with that. Like, I feel bad for the guy. I do. But that's a big, big lesson to learn in life. A big lesson to learn. Painful one. And there's no way that he'll ever get it back. A Connecticut judge has made a landmark decision involving a cell phone. Okay, so you know how cops everywhere, they'll talk on their cell phones, not a problem while they're on duty. But they see you on the cell phone, oh, they're going to absolutely lambaste you. Very expensive ticket coming your way, probably anywhere from $300 to $600. Well, this judge told a police officer, you made a mistake. Here's what happened. Jason Strieber was pulled over for allegedly talking on his cell phone, but he wasn't on a cell phone. He was eating a McDonald's hash brown. And what he did, actually was pretty brilliant, is he actually brought the cell phone and the hash brown to court. Strieber's attorney, John Thigerson, said with a laugh he was quite pleased with the judge's decision that his client was found not guilty after contesting a $300 distracted driving citation he received last year. Called it the win of the century. Now, Strieber's victory comes nearly 13 months after he was pulled over by a Westport police officer who claimed he'd seen the 45-year-old using a cell phone on the morning of April 11th, 2018. Strieber, representing himself in court, lost his case last year but refused to give up. That's when he hired a lawyer. And apparently the judge bought it. His concern was distracted driving violations go on your record and they never come off. Plus, a lot of people don't realize your insurance rates go up. Westport Police Corporal Sean Wan Wong, Sean Wong Wan, that's a good name, testified he clearly saw Strieber speaking into a black cell phone while driving that morning, the Hour reported. Wong Wan, that's awesome, said in court that he saw Strieber holding an illuminated object the size of a cell phone up to his face while moving his lips. Problem was the old McDonald's hash brown. Do you blame the cop? I don't think so. But be careful if you go to McDonald's and you were like totally chowing down on that hash brown. You don't want to get pulled over. All right, the debate is on back in space. We got to get to this. And I'm getting a little PO'd about this. Who out there, show of hands, believes Pluto is a planet? I do. That's the way I grew up in school. Well, these politically correct astronomers who are taking away still Pluto's planetary title, if we could call it that, are getting some heat. Alan Stern will be debating Ron Eckers, who used to be the president of the International Astronomical Union. Didn't even know there was one. The global organization responsible for redefining the term planet. Because Stern wants Pluto, considered a dwarf planet, still considered a planet by us. Like, is this stuff we really need to worry about? Do we really need to be wasting time wondering if Pluto is a planet or not? It's in our solar system. It's round. We know it's not a moon. Just give the damn thing its planetary status. It's not hurting anybody, guys. It's not hurting anybody. But the debate continues. I mean, in 2005, Pluto got demoted. He's in the minors now. Doesn't qualify to play with the big boys like Uranus, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune. No. Just a little dwarf planet. Way off in the cold, dark universe. Well, the debate continues. I say we jump on board. We got to get this going. Pluto is a planet. Just like Team Stump. Yes, Devil's Tower in Wyoming. Team Stump. It's not a rock, it's a stump. 10-mile high tree. I tell you, truthfully, though, I totally believe Pluto is a planet, more so than I do that Team Stump is actually a stump. Now, here's something that you Americans will be upset with. Pharmaceutical groups are opposing a plan in Maine that would reduce medication costs by importing drugs by bulk from Canada. The legislature's Committee of Health Coverage, Insurance, and Financial Services heard from supporters and critics last week. Supporters included Democratic Senate President Troy Jackson saying prescription drug prices are much cheaper in Canada, which they are. However, the Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America claim there is no darn way to ensure safety of these drugs. We can't trust those Canadians taking them. The Maine Pharmacy Association says Canadian pharmacists are also worried such a plan could cause systemic drug shortages in Canada. How about just lowering your prices so people can live? Instead of thinking with profit, how about thinking with people's lives? Not that difficult. Not that difficult. Is it just me? Look, I know I'm the token Canadian here. Speaking to all of you. All right? I pay a lot of taxes every year to get health care. And every Canadian does. But I will never understand the system down there. Ever. Don't understand. I have no concept of what it's like to live in a for-profit Medicare country. Don't think I want to. It's not a shot at the U.S. Love you guys. Most of my friends are down there. But I scratch my head on that one. Just give them the medication, man. People need to live. They deserve it. They earned it. All right. Getting back to what we talked about with Butch Witkowski. George Knapp, famed KLAS reporter, was able to break a big story today stating that the Pentagon actually released the videos of the gimbal film, the Tic Tac UFO, and the Go Fast UFO. 2 out of 3 videos were made public in December 2017 when the New York Times article came out. Of course, that was led by the To the Stars Academy, Luis Elizondo, who says the videos were released by the Department of Defense. The Department of Defense made the decision to release them. Knapp followed. Who gave him the green light? Elizondo answered, was not me. Somebody's holding something up. Somebody is holding something up. But the Pentagon finally admitting they were the ones who brought the videos forward. And finally, before acquiring a pet, it may be a good idea with checking with the other residents of the house to see how they feel about it. This is according to a Pasco County Sheriff's Office, because a Florida man found out this fact the hard way. According to police, Matthew Allen Drummond was arrested this past weekend after getting into an argument with his girlfriend's son. The report says the 37-year-old Drummond became agitated upon finding out that the son had brought home a pet rat. The argument soon turned physical, where the suspect touched the 22-year-old in the chest and struck him in the eye without consent. The man's injuries were visible, according to police. Drummond admitted to placing his hand on the younger man, but did so in self-defense, according to deputies. The electrician also said he didn't appreciate the way the victim was speaking to him and told him to be a man about the situation. Drummond was arrested and charged with felony battery, according to the records. However, there is no update or status on what happened to the rat. let's get to the thought of the Dave. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air, because we absolutely love the audience participation around here. By the way, Marty, I love your comment. You are speaking as a Canadian using Canadian logic. Here in the USA, everything is based on the almighty dollar. To American politicians and business leaders, if it doesn't make a profit, it's considered un-American. Gotcha. Thank you for the lesson, my friend. He's a veteran. Gotta love our veterans who listen to this show. All right, thought of the Dave time. Dan says, Richard Dolan, no BS, just a genuine want for the truth and to bring the truth to the public. Good call. I like Richard Dolan. Good guy. T. Booth on Twitter, Mitchell Townsend on Bigfoot is excellent. Well, it's excellent to know that. Excellent to know that. Part of the Dave, I respect the one that admits it is all just an easy woo cash grab. Love it when Bart L chimes in. BartL.com. Let's see. Bram likes George Knapp. He is a very finely tuned BS detector and isn't afraid to call out the nonsense for what it is. Timothy Good, as well as Linda Moulton Howe. William, Richard Dolan, Tim Renner, Butch Witkowski, who we just had on, Seth Breedlove, and Stanton Friedman. David, let's start with the cryptids. Jeff Meldrum, no others at all. In the paranormal, Dr. Gary Schwartz, Dr. Judy Beischel, Dr. Dean Radin, Dr. Rupert Sheldrake, Dr. Stuart Hameroff. Oh, he's got a ton of doctors on there. And in UFOs, Dolan, Moulton Howe, Grant Cameron, Robert Woods, David Jacobs, Paul Harris, Stanton Friedman. Honorable mention to Dr. Roger Lear for being deceased. Interesting. God of Thunder, still pissed off his Toronto Maple Leafs got knocked out of the playoffs, says there's the ones no one's heard of. They aren't well known, they don't seek celebrity status, and they don't try to sell you their swag. They're actually into it to research what area of interest they have. Jason loves Grant Cameron, Richard Dolan, Linda Moulton Howe, dark journalist Stanton Friedman, John Greenwald from the Black Vault. That's a good call. UFO Contact, Grant Cameron, Colin Andrews, Richard Dolan, Daniel Sheehan, based on their integrity, intelligence, examination of all sides of the issues. Tuck says, in the paranormal, I like Pat Fitzhugh and Joe Eskew. Very cool. Very cool. Let's go over to Facebook. Edie, I respect Jody Cook in the field of cryptids, as well as any unknown researcher out there putting in the time in the forest in search of the truth without putting down their other researchers. Good comment, Edith. We love you around here. Catherine, I like Rob Morphy. He has a personality that I like. He does not sound like a BSer, and when he is on it, it is an easy presentation to follow along. Andrew, my favorite cryptid researcher would be the infamous Dr. Jeff Meldrum from Idaho State University Anthropology Department. No nonsense kind of guy, has the largest collection of Bigfoot tracks. Kelly and Kelly's Beard, they both like Butch Witkowski for cryptids. Paranormal, Morgan Knudsen. UFOs, Stanton Friedman, Linda Moulton Howe. Little Richie Giordano gets a vote. And George Knapp. Robin likes David Weatherly and Ross Allison. I think there's a little bit of a man crush there, Robin, on Ross Allison. I'm gonna bet. Let's see. I think we got time for one more. Trying to find a good one. Jamie Sexton, formerly of the Rebel Planet. My favorite, Dave Scott, because he's a badass, plus he's a chick magnet, and I'm hoping that rubs off on me. Oh, how little you know, Jamie Sexton. How little you know. No chick magnet here. This is a 100% pure face for radio, people. Pure face for radio. Want to say a big thank you to Captain Shirk for jumping on in and grabbing us some great news for tonight on the SOR Newswire. You can find all of it on our Facebook page. Just go to the SOR Newswire. It's right there for you. Big thanks to Butch Witkowski. Strange Days comes on the final Monday of every month. He will be back on Monday, May 27th. Tomorrow night of the show, Ian Holt is back. We're getting into horror, suspense, paranormal, even some music at spacedoutradio.com. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, in your cars, at work, on social media, in our chat rooms, the SOR Space Travelers on Facebook, Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio, Revolution Radio's chat room as well. And who can forget all the lovely people in Spreaker tonight? Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for doing this with us, because together, my friends, we own the night. I will talk to you in 21 hours from now. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Good night.